They're all scared of you. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم وإذ قلنا للملائكة اسجدوا لآدم فسجدوا إلا إبليس كان من الجن ففسق عن أمر ربه أفتتخذونه وذريته أولياء من دوني وهم لكم عدو بئس للظالمين بدلا ما أشهدتهم خلق السماوات والأرض ولا خلق أنفسهم وما كنت متخذ المضلين عضدا ويوم يقول نادوا شركائي الذين زعمتم فدعوهم فلم يستجيبوا لهم وجعلنا بينهم موبقا ورأى المجرمون النار فظنوا أنهم مواقعوها ولم يجدوا عنها مصرفا صدق الله العظيم. My dear respected brothers and elders, today's dars is to do with the famous story where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala instructed the angels to prostrate before Adam alayhi salam. Now what has this got to do with the previous stories? Imam Fakhruddin Razi rahmatullahi alayhi's tafsir, At-Tafsir al-Kabir, also known as Mafatih al-Ghaib, Keys to the Unseen, he explains that every time this story has been mentioned in the Quran, same story, that Allah told angels to prostrate before Adam alayhi salam, including Iblis, and Iblis refused. However, every time it's mentioned, there is a distinct benefit, there is a special benefit. So in today's dars, the benefit is, or the link is with the previous story, is that both of those stories, وَاتْلُ مَا أُوحِيَ إِلَيْكَ مِنْ كِتَابِ رَبِّكَ, where the mushrikeen of Makkah, they came to the Prophet ﷺ, they said, you've got these poor people in your gathering, Salman Farsi radiallahu ta'ala and Bilal radiallahu ta'ala, if you move these Sahaba, then they will accept Islam and give us a private session. So Allah said, وَاصْبِرْ نَفْسَكَ مَعَ الَّذِينَ يَدْعُونَ رَبَّهُمْ بِالْغَدَاةِ وَالْعَشِيِّ يُرِيدُونَ. If you remember, we give a dars on Mi'yar al-Sahabiyat, yes, in that dars. So that was one story. Then the story after that was regarding the two friends walking in the orchard, walking in the bagh. Now we have this. So what is the link? The link is that in the previous two stories, the reason mushrikeen in Makkah wanted a special treatment from the Prophet ﷺ, and the reason this disbeliever was walking in the orchard was showing off and he was disbelieving in Allah, the fundamental or foundational reason in both stories, it was arrogance. What was it? Arrogance. So now Allah is reminding us, where did this arrogance start? It started off with Iblis. You see, this is the link. There's two groups within the Mufassirun. Some Mufassirun say that every verse is linked to the previous. There's a rabt, there's a link with every verse. Some Mufassirun say there is a necessary link. It doesn't have to be a necessary link. Imam Fakhruddin Razi rahmatullahi is one of the Mufassirin who are with the opinion that there is a link with every verse. Even though ostensibly, apparently, it may seem there is no link, but there is. And sometimes what he does is, he adumbrates 5-6 reasons, links. Subhanallah. Hafiz ibn Taymiyyah rahmatullahi alayhi said regarding Imam Razi's tafsir, فِيهِ كُلُّ شَيْءٍ إِلَّا التَّفْسِير. The tafsir of Imam Razi's got everything apart from tafsir. Ibn Rajab Hanbali did rad on this. No. فيه كل شيء مع تفسير. There's everything in there with tafsir. The first volume has been printed in English. Surah Fatiha. You can buy it in Jangir if you're interested.
I did try reading it. It goes into the Arabic a lot.
Yes. So Allah says, وَإِذْ قُلْنَا لِلْمَلَائِكَةِ اسْجُدُوا لِآدَمَ فَسَجَدُوا إِلَّا Iblis. Remember the time when we told the angels, Usjudu li Adam, prostrate before Adam. Fasajadu, they prostrate except for Iblis. This prostration sajda was for, not for ibadah. It was not for worship. This was to honor Adam alayhi salatu wasalam. So there's a difference between sajda ta'azeem and sajda of ibadah. Sajda that is done with worship is shirk and kufr. And sajda that is done with for respect is haram now in the Sharia of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. In the previous Sharia it wasn't. Like in Yusuf alayhi salatu wasalam and all of the brothers, they prostrated kharru lahu sujjada, all 11 brothers. But in the Sharia of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, sajda of honor and reverence is also haram. Illa Iblis, kana min al-jinn, he was from the jinn. But why was he directed to prostrate? Because he lived with the angels. So he was part of the group, even though he himself was not an angel, he was a jinn. فَفَسَقَ عَنْ أَمْرِ رَبِّي, and disobeyed the command of his Lord. So what was this done? This was done based on arrogance. What did he say to Allah? When Allah said prostrate, he said, قَالَ أَنَا خَيْرٌ مِّنْ خَلَقْتَنِي مِنْ نَارٍ وَخَلَقْتَهُ مِنْ طِينٍ. That, oh Allah, I'm better than him. You have created him from clay and you have created me from fire. And the quiddity, the reality of fire is that it elevates, it rises. And the quiddity and reality of dust and clay is that it falls onto the ground. So something that elevates is better in comparison to something that, yes, descends. Yeah, ascension is better than descension. This was his reasoning, this was his qiyas. So because of this arrogance that he had, قال أنا, me, I am better. So our teacher Shaykh Muwaffaq would say in class that whoever has this feeling of superiority over his brother, he is following the way of shaitan. Because shaitan was the first being to say, أنا خير من, I am better than him. This pride. So pride was the first sin that was committed in the heavens. And this is what links all these stories after Surah the story of the cave.
Imam Ghazali said his reasoning was false anyway, because fire is destructive as the earth.
Yes.
Earth, so.
Yes. I mean, there is no reasoning when it's the order of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Disobeying your creator itself is an absurdity. Disobeying your controller, your sustainer, your maker, your master, that itself is an absurdity, logical absurdity. So the Prophet ﷺ defined pride as لا يدخل الجنة من كان في قلبه مثقال ذرة من كبر. That person who has an iota of takabbur, pride, will not enter Jannah. What's mithqal? Mithqal is, in the summer when there is dust on the windowsill and the sun shines through. You see those dust particles floating? Each of those particles is mithqal, iota. So whoever has this much pride will not enter Jannah. The Sahaba said, Ya Rasulullah, we like to have nice clothes, nice shoes. Is this also pride? He said, no. This is Jamal, this is beauty. Inna Allah Jameel yuhibbul Jamal. This is beauty. Allah is beautiful and likes beauty. What is pride? Two main characteristics the Prophet ﷺ explained this hadith. Batrul haq wa ghimtun nas, or kama qala sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Rejecting the truth and belittling people. Rejecting the truth and belittling people. Rejecting the truth, whatever that truth may be. It might be regarding yourself, that you've got issue of you can't control your eyes. You've got issue you can't control your tongue. Somebody tells you. If it's the truth and it's with you and somebody tells you, and we reject this, what is rejecting this now? Our pride is rejecting this. What do we say? Don't judge me. Don't judge me. Even though, philosophically speaking, don't judge me is also a judgment, because you're telling the person not to judge you, which is the judgment. Yes? But don't judge me is only reserved for deen. We don't do it for dunya. If a doctor says you've got this illness, what do we say? Thank you, doctor. Anything else? We say to the doctor, if a doctor says you've got this illness, don't judge me. Is that what are you here for? So this, it takes a lot of tarbiyah. The good people who in religious deen, when it comes to this, they fail. Nobody likes being told, especially if it's the truth. But a humble person, I remember Hafiz Patel Sahib rahmatullahi alayhi, in Bradford Darloom once. I'm not going to mention the scholar's name because he's also passed away, rahimahullah. In front of a large gathering, thousands of people, that scholar told him off. And it's probably, that scholar in age might be younger than Hafiz Patel Sahib. And everybody's thinking, you know, what was going to happen? It was a really bad telling off. You know, like how you tell a child off. And to be quite frank, it was an accusation. It was not even something that was true. And Hafiz Patel Sahib rahmatullahi alayhi used to say, yes, it's true. And he looked down and said, yes, Jesus. Yes. And I was like, wow. If that was any of us, we would have failed. His tarbiyah has been done in Da'wat Tabligh. His tarbiyah was done. And he didn't mention afterwards. People said to him, Hafiz Sahib, we should have taken it. It's okay, fine. He's got the right to say that. We were in the room with him, and people were saying that as people, he shouldn't have said it. But he shouldn't have said it because it was really bad. And he said, it's okay, it's fine. It's okay. Allahu Akbar. So pride is a big thing. Yes, and is what repel shaitan from Jannah. So when he got repelled and Allah told him, don't stay here anymore, he took an oath, قَالَ فَبِعِزَّتِكَ لَأُغْوِيَنَّهُمْ أَجْمَعِينَ, that he will misguide and mislead the progeny of Adam alayhi salam, because of which he has been now casted from Jannah. He's going to attack each and every single human. And he demonstrated his attack. ثُمَّ لَآتِيَنَّهُمْ مِنْ بَيْنِ أَيْدِيهِمْ وَمِنْ خَلْفِهِمْ وَعَنْ أَيْمَانِهِمْ وَعَنْ شَمَائِلِهِمْ. I'm going to attack from the front, from back, from right, from left. He mentioned these 4 angles. And then he said, وَلَا تَيُّ أَكْثَرُمْ شَاكِرِينَ. Most of the people that he will attack, they will be ungrateful. They will not be people of shukr and gratitude. Imam Razi rahmatullah, when the interpretation he gives of these 4 angles is, what he means by 4 angles is, from the front is a metaphor of the future. The things that will happen in the future, grave, hashr, the day of resurrection, mizan, scale, he will put doubts regarding these things in your heart. Hence, hindering your preparation for the akhirah. From back, what does it mean? When a person gets old, you have behind you your assets, your business, your children. You'll put immense love of these things in your heart. Again, it will hinder you from preparing. From the right, the people of the religion, people of righteousness, engage them in ujub, self-vanity, takabbur, pride, backbiting. You know, sins that can be committed while sitting in the masjid in the front of. Or it can be committed while sitting on the mimbar. These are such sins. The person sitting in the masjid and he's lost all his a'mal. From the left, the general sins. Fornication, riba, alcohol, etc. So the angels, they said, Ya Allah, how will a person survive? Shaitan is going to attack from every angle. How is he going to survive? Allah said there's 2 directions. He did not say fawq and tahat, above and beneath. Therefore, any of my slave, male or female, who prostrates and puts their forehead onto the ground before Allah, and after that they raise their hands and they ask Allah forgiveness, Allah said, I will forgive all their sins. And note in this verse, وَلَا تَيُ أَكْثَرُ مِشَاكِرِينَ, most of the people will be ungrateful. So what's the opposite mafhum you can understanding? That the more grateful you are to Allah, the less susceptible you are to shaitan's attack. The less vulnerable you are to shaitan's attack. The more shakir you are, the more grateful you are to people and Allah for everything you have in your life, the less chance shaitan has to attack you.
Grateful people are generally more humble as well.
Yes. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is reminding the mushrikeen in Makkah, and you guys got arrogance, you don't want to sit with these poor Sahaba. This is the trait of Iblis. He was the one who, because of his arrogance, he refused. أَفَتَتَّخِذُونَهُ وَذُرِّيَّتَهُ أَوْلِيَاءَ مِن دُونِي. Allah said, you make him and his progeny, yes, as friends other than me, even though they are your enemies. What does it mean by progeny? I mean, there's two interpretations. One interpretation is that here is referring to his helpers. Shaitan he has a gang, he has an army that helps him with this mischief. Some ulama say, no, this is actually referring to actual progeny. Because there's a hadith where the Prophet ﷺ said to Salman Farsi radiallahu ta'ala anhu, Salman, do not be the one amongst those who are the first to enter the market and the last to leave. Why? Because this is where shaitan lays his eggs. And he has children through eggs. Khair, we do know that he does have helpers. Shaitan has helpers. So Allah says, have you made him and his progeny as friends other than me? Even though they're your enemy, Shaitan is your enemy. Shaitan's going to give bayan in Jahannam. Kareeb kareeb aa jao bhai. He's not going to say kareeb kareeb aa jao, but he's going to give bayan. وَقَالَ الشَّيْطَانُ لَمَّا قُضِيَ الْأَمْرُ. When everybody in Jahannam will enter, you know, like when all the prisoners will enter. Yeah? And usually, you know, the one that got them in trouble, he gets beaten up, isn't he? So Shaitan's going to have a plan. Now listen, I'm entering Jahannam, I need to give this bayan. So when he enters Jahannam, he's going to get everybody and say, look, I need to tell you something. إِنَّ اللَّهَ وَعَدَكُمْ وَعْدَ الْحَقِّ. Allah promised you in the dunya that if you do this, you will get this. وَوَعَدْتُكُمْ فَأَخْلَفْتُكُمْ فِيهِ. I also promised you, but I was lying to you. But remember one thing, وَمَا كَانَ لِي عَلَيْكُمْ مِنْ سُلْطَانٍ. I never forced you, I never grabbed you from the hand and said, gee, come on, let's do this sin. إِلَّا أَن دَعَوْتُكُمْ. Except I only invited you, whispered you, did your tashkil, فَاسْتَجَبْتُمْ لِي, and you accepted. فَلَا تَلُومُونِي وَلُومُوا أَنفُسَكُمْ. Don't blame me now, blame yourself. مَا أَنَا بِمُصْرِخِكُمْ وَمَا أَنْتُمْ بِمُصْرِخِي. I'm not going to feel sorry for you, you don't feel sorry for me. We're all on our own in this place now. He's going to say this because he knows everybody's going to hate his guts. So he's your enemy. وَهُمْ لَكُمْ عَدُوٌ. And Allah says, فَاتَّخِذُوا عَدُوًا. Regard him as your enemy because he wants your destruction. A being that doesn't want any good for you, who is he? Your friend or enemy? Enemy. بِئْسَ لِلظَّالِمِينَ بَدَلًا. Evil indeed is the substitution of the oppressors. Meaning, instead of making Allah as their friend and a wali, what have they done? They made shaitan. So this is an evil substitution. It's an evil exchange, badal. And then Allah says, مَا أَشْهَدْتُمْ خَلَقَ السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضِ وَلَا خَلْقَ أَنفُسِهِمْ. I did not make them witness, or I did not require them to be present in the creation of the heavens and the earth, nor the creation of themselves. Yani, the Iblis and Shaitan who you made your wali and who you at times worship, they were not even there when the heavens and the earth were created. Imam Razi Rahmatullah disagrees with this interpretation. He says, مَا أَشْهَدْتُهُمْ. I did not make them as witness when creating the heavens and the earth. Where is the hum plural going to? It's not going to the shayateen. It's going to the mushrikeen in Makkah. Because بِئْسَ لِلظَّالِمِينَ, the pronoun, the reference of the pronoun, the closest is the zalimin, the transgressors, who refer to mushrikeen in Makkah. So Allah is saying, these people who have so much arrogance, they were not there. They were, when I was creating the heavens and the earth, they were not there. They were not even there to witness on their own self. So why do they have so much arrogance as though they govern everything? They don't govern anything. This is another interpretation. But the famous interpretation is that ma ashhadtuhum, I did not make them witness, meaning the shayateen, who you worship and who you made your friend, they were not there to witness the heavens and the earth being created, nor were they there to witness their own creation, meaning they are created beings, they are weak, feeble. وَمَا كُنْتُ مُتَّخِذَ الْمُضِلِّينَ عَضُدًا, and I cannot take as assistant those who lead others astray. And how will Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Allah doesn't take anybody as assistant, never mind those who misguide mankind. Final two verses. وَيَوْمَ يَقُولُ نَادُوا شُرَكَائِيَ الَّذِينَ زَعَمْتُمْ فَدَعَوْهُمْ فَلَمْ يَسْتَجِيبُوا لَهُمْ وَجَعَلْنَا بَيْنَهُمْ مَوْبِقًا. And remember the day of Qiyamah, when Allah will say, نَادُوا شُرَكَائِيَ الَّذِينَ زَعَمْتُمْ, call those whom you regarded to be my partners. And Mushrikeen Makkah, they had done shirk. They had made false gods, false idols as their god, shaitan as their god. So Allah will say on the day of judgment, call them now. فَدَعَوْهُمْ, so they will call them. فَلَمْ يَسْتَجِيبُوا لَهُمْ, they will not respond to them. The false gods that they worship, they will not respond. وَجَعَلْنَا بَيْنَهُمْ مَوْبِقًا, and Allah says, I will make a barrier between them. One interpretation is Mawbiq is a valley in Jahannam. The valley of Jahannam will come in between, and that's where the Mushrikeen of Makkah will fall into. وَرَأَ الْمُجْرِمُونَ النَّارِ, and when this Mawbiq, this valley comes, the Mujrimun, the criminals, the Mushrikeen, they will see the fire burning. فَظَنُّوا أَنَّهُمْ مَوَاقِعُوهَا, and they will have certitude that they're going to fall inside this fire. Now only the word dhann doesn't mean assumption. What does it mean? Ilm. The word dhann in Arabic language can have two meanings. It can either mean assumption, speculation. إِن يَتَّبِعُونَ إِلَّا الظَّنِّ, and the Quran says that they only follow their speculations and conjecture. Or the word dhann can also mean actual knowledge, certainty. Like, إِنِّي ظَنَنْتُ أَنِّي مُلَاقٍ حِسَابِيَ فَيَقُولُ هَاؤُمُ اقْرَءُوا كِتَابِيَ إِنِّي ظَنَنْتُ أَنِّي مُلَاقٍ حِسَابِيَ. When the person will receive the book in their right hand, and they will be celebrating, oh, look, read my book. Indeed, I had yaqeen that I'm going to be taken to an account. So down there, of course, it doesn't mean I assume, because that's kufr. You can't have assumption regarding Qiyamah. You have to have belief. So the word dhann in the Arabic language is amongst those words which can have dual meaning. So here it means فَظَنُّوا, يعني تَيَقَّنُوا أو فَعَلِمُوا, they will know with certitude that they're going to fall in this fire now. وَلَمْ يَجْدُوا عَنْهَا مَصْرِفًا, and they will not find anyone to rescue them from this. نقف بهذا القدر إن شاء الله. We'll stop here. سبحان الله وبحمده سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك.